Hey everyone, it's Manda Lee. This is actually my first video on this channel, which I'm very excited about. This is a build that I did using the new Cats and Dogs pack, and it's kind of inspired by the architecture of that pack and the kind of New England coastal, they say that it was inspired by Maine and the Canada coast. So this build is very inspired by that, and I'm excited about it. It's a family home that has, two bedrooms with like kids stuff in them, I guess you could say, and then a guest room and the master. So it's a big house for sure, but not overly big and not overly expensive either, which is nice. And the other really cool thing about this build is actually that it uses only the base game and Cats and Dogs. So that's really exciting. I know as a builder, me personally and a lot of other people who do builds in The Sims find it challenging to go from having all these amazing packs with all this amazing content and just kind of limitless options almost, to having to really restrict yourself and just limit it down so much. So it was definitely a challenge, but it was something that I wanted to do, knowing that a lot of people are only able to purchase the one game pack or so at a time. So I went ahead and did it, just as the 2-pack build, I guess you could say, really only 1 pack plus the base game, and it was a challenge, I would say, but I was really happy with how it turned out, and I kind of got in the zone. And at first I was feeling a little restricted by it, and it was a struggle to continue to remind myself, like, okay, wait, no, I can't use that chair, I can't use that countertop, I can't use whatever, and kind of having to rethink what I was doing. So while it was a challenge, it was an interesting challenge that I was happy to do. I like building, I like trying to do new things with my builds and challenge myself in that way, so having something new to do and focus my attention on was fun. There were maybe a few things that slipped in here and there, but I'm pretty sure I caught most of them. Like, I know there's a painting on the wall and just a few little tiny random things like that, nothing big at all. So you can see here, as I wanted to do the, I actually just skipped ahead quite a bit. I wanted to do this kind of like characteristic, almost barn style roof that's very common in New England architecture, so I struggled to get that roof right. I was honestly fiddling around with it for like an hour, and it was just making the build really long having that all in there, so I apologize for having had to remove that out of the build to show how I actually ended up doing that. There's a lot of other YouTubers that have done this type of roofing, and some that I know show it. I know Deligracy just did a build, her barn vet clinic, where she showed the how she kind of did it, and I used the same technique. So there's actually one of the stories is almost making up part of the roof. And that's a good way to kind of get that more angular, because you can do the curved look with the new roof manipulation tools, which are awesome, but I wanted it to be more angular, so I ended up needing to go with the double, using the actual level as part of the roof method. So I've actually moved into the interior already, but I'll talk a little bit more about the exterior. As I was looking into New England architecture and what was very characteristic of it, and kind of how I could make it obvious that that's what I was going for, one thing that I kept seeing come up was, like I said, that very characteristic almost barn style roof, and then another thing was these really big dramatic chimneys, which I thought was awesome. So that's what that big thing on the side is supposed to be. It's just a big dramatic chimney, the big stone structure, and it actually goes, I think, a level higher than the rest of the house, plus like another little half wall on the top. So it is very dramatic. It's definitely a statement, but I ended up really liking it. You can see here, this is me trying to place a collage wall. You can kind of laugh at me while I do that, because it was a struggle for sure. This is where I messed up and put in a painting from, I think, the spooky stuff pack. So I fixed that though before I upload it to the gallery, so you'll be able to still download it with no problems. But you can see the double dramatic staircases going up. I don't usually tend to put a staircase right at the front of my build because it feels like a little abrupt, I guess you could say, to me. But I wasn't really finding a way that I liked it otherwise. So I just kind of decided to lean into it and go with the really dramatic, big statement staircases going up on either side. And I actually ended up loving it. It's not something I would normally do. Each of the staircases is 3 wide, I believe, and it ends up looking really cool. Now I've moved into the kitchen, and these are actually just some base game countertops. At first I was tempted to use the countertops that came with the Parenthood pack, just because I find that they have a bit of a coastal vibe to them. But then after I had already placed them all, I realized, oh crap, I'm trying to do just base game and cats and dogs. And unfortunately, cats and dogs didn't come with any new countertops, so I kind of had to rethink my strategy and ended up going with these base game countertops, which I very rarely use just because we have so many other options. But I actually ended up liking how they turned out. I like the kind of honey-colored wood. I find that throughout this build I was tending to go like really cool in color, and so having that honey-colored wood, I think, almost brings it down, grounds it a little bit, you could say. So I ended up being really happy with that, and it was fun, like I said earlier, to just experiment with different stuff and use things that I wouldn't typically use, just due to that challenge that I was doing. Here I am placing the cabinet uppers, which I think are fun and dramatic, and the nice thing about where the house is or where this room is in the house is, I know a lot of times when I place cabinet uppers, you never get to see them when you have like most people tend to play with the auto walls that go up and down based on where your sim is, and you never really tend to see the cabinet uppers a lot of the time if you do that. But with where the kitchen is, you are able to see that, which is cool. I actually also just skipped ahead a little bit there because I was doing just some clutter objects in the kitchen, and it took me a while to find the ones I wanted, and it was kind of boring to watch. But now I've moved into the dining room. I'm just doing a few finishing touches in the kitchen, but now I'm going to go into the dining room area using that gorgeous new table from Cats and Dogs that I love so much. It's almost like I pictured that it's made out of like reclaimed, like washed up wood that someone found along the beach, just with all those different tonalities, and it's a bit washed out and just really cool. I love that. I also love that new rug that I just placed. Has so many different swatches and patterns, and it's just an amazing rug. And now that we can size rugs up and down, it's so versatile, which is awesome. You could place it in a bathroom, make it really small. You could make it giant and place it in a huge great room area. I think that I sized it down 1 notch maybe for that space. It could have worked with the bigger, but I wanted it to be kind of just tucked under the table. So this is the front little, I don't even know what to call it, I guess tower, octagonal tower type thing. That's like the very front of it, bottom part of it. And I was conflicted onto whether I wanted to close this area off or not. I kind of went back and forth a little bit, and I ended up leaving it open just because I liked that flow a little bit better. With it closed off, it just kind of made that area feel small. So I left it open. If you're not a fan of that, you could of course just throw a wall in and maybe do some arches or whatever you wanted to do. But it ends up just being a little office area with some chairs facing the desk. So I don't know, I just pictured maybe one of the people that lives here works from home and kind of manage their business from this little area. That was kind of the backstory that I had in my mind. I don't have a family that I've made to live in this house, but I actually am thinking about doing a Let's Play in this house just because I love it so much. It ended up being one of my favorite builds that I've done. Oh, sorry, crazy camera there for a second. But, so I might end up doing that. Let me know if you guys think that you would enjoy that. I would probably just do like a Cats and Dogs Let's Play. And I haven't done any Let's Plays. Like I said, this is my first video, which I'm really excited about. I was also going to just take a second to introduce myself. So my name's Manda. I have been playing The Sims for, oh gosh, I don't even know, but I basically, when I was younger, really loved playing The Sims, but my parents didn't want me to have it because it was rated teen and stuff. So, but I had some cousins that owned it, and every time I would go to their house or see them, we would play The Sims 2. and I loved it. And you know, I right away I wanted to cheat and do all this stuff, and I liked building and everything like that. And then finally, when I was grown up and out on my own, I was able to purchase The Sims 3 for myself, which I loved playing. And then obviously Sims 4 is out now, and I'm a huge Sims 4 fan. I know some people are really loyal to Sims 3, and of course I am too. It was the first Sims game that I really got to play, and so of course I have a special place in my heart for it. But I love Sims 4. I love the building functionality that they've added to it, and just how, you know, it's just really intuitive and easy to use, and I think they've done a great job with that. I love all the packs that we've gotten. So I am a big Sims 4 fan for sure. And I just love to build. When I first got Sims 4, it's just, I didn't build a ton in Sims 3, just a little bit. I mostly liked to just like download gallery creations, and I would maybe refurbish them a little bit, but I wasn't as big into building. But Sims 4, right away I got into building, and over the past, I guess, 3 years that it's been out, I've just really experimented with it and got confident with it. And so my husband has been telling me, you need to start a channel and just post your stuff just for fun. And so I finally decided to do it, and I'm excited about it to see where it goes, because I just love building and sharing my stuff with you guys. I am married, like I said. I have a daughter. She is, let's see, she's 15 months old, and she's a lot of fun. And she's a little bit crazy. I'm actually recording this during nap time right now. That's a bit of a struggle, is finding a time where it's quiet enough that I can record, or you know, so I ended up having to do a lot of editing on this build, because, you know, I would be doing the build and then she would wake up from her nap, or I'd be doing the build and she would decide that she was going to throw her food all over the floor. So there were big chunks of time that I had to cut out because I basically got distracted with her. So that's an interesting thing. There's not very many simmers that have kids out there. So I think that people think that, like, I don't know, maybe there's like an immaturity about playing video games, and once you're all grown up and have kids and a family, you can't play anymore. But I disagree, and this is totally my stress relief and my, you know, something that I really enjoy doing. So I love playing Sims, even though I'm a mom and a grown-up. It's just still something that I have so much fun with. So I live in the United States. I live in Utah, which is a state in the US, and I really enjoy it here. It's great. We have a lot of pretty mountains that we can go. I love hiking and spending time outside. We go camping a lot, so that's fun. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I'm 23, if that interests anybody. So some people are surprised that I'm 23 and yet I have a daughter and a husband and stuff. But yeah, that's just how it worked out for us. And we have been married for 4.5 years now, my husband and I. And my husband and I met in Arizona. That's where we're from originally. So that's where we met and got married, and then we moved up here together a little later on. Anyway, so yeah, that's just a little about me. I just wanted to take that moment to introduce myself, and I'm excited to run this channel and get to know you guys. I don't expect this to become like my career by any means, because I am a mom and I am busy and I don't have a ton of time to devote to it, but I definitely will be posting regularly, somewhat regularly, hopefully at least like once a week is what I'm gonna shoot for, but don't hold me to that. And understand that I do have a crazy 1-year-old that requires a lot of time and attention from me. So we'll see how it ends up going. Maybe I'll post more than that, maybe I'll post less. My husband is super supportive and, you know, willing to take my daughter off my hands whenever he's home from work, so that's awesome too. I basically just talked through that entire furnishing of the downstairs area, but anyways, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a living room area, which I actually initially didn't even put in. I was initially going to put the master down there in that space, but after a little thinking, I decided I wanted to do the living room on the main floor. So here I've jumped up now to one of the little girls' rooms, and it is for a little girl. You know, there's like a kid's bed in it and stuff, one of the new kids' beds that came with cats and dogs. And I just pictured her being super into cats, and so she actually ends up having like a cat bed for her own little cat, and a litter box. So I just thought maybe this family would have a few pets, and one of them would be this daughter's cat. That's her own cat, basically. And I the stuff that I put in this room is so quirky, and I wouldn't normally use it, I don't think, in just like your normal everyday build, but I thought just since I'm doing a build specifically for cats and dogs, let's just go all out and use these super fun things. And I actually ended up really liking it, which is fun. And I put some little cat decals on the wall too, which is super cute. They came with cats and dogs. At first I was just going to do the one big one, but as I realized there were so many more, I was thinking, okay, we got to do a few of these different little cat decals. So I ended up putting 4 or maybe 5 in. Yeah, 4, I guess that's it. And just different colors and different types of cats, and it's ended up being super cute. So yeah, here I am placing the actual cat objects. So yeah, the litter box and the little bed. I end up putting like food bowls and stuff in another little area of this level, which I actually don't show me furnishing, but you'll see in the screenshots. I didn't show me furnishing it because it was kind of boring and I was short on time. This was getting pretty long and I didn't want it to be like a 35-minute video. So I actually just now cut ahead from me furnishing a bathroom and a guest room. They're both pretty self-explanatory, and again, I was running short on time. So I've moved into the master bedroom area, which has a cute little balcony facing out to the front. It has a fireplace and an ensuite bathroom as well. So I end up loving this master bedroom. I kind of kept it really crisp and clean for the most part, with a lot of white and lighter colors, and then just a few touches of that darker wood to kind of just, like I said earlier, ground it a little bit and bring it back down to earth a little bit. And it ended up looking super fun. I absolutely love these fireplaces that came with cats and dogs. So I actually put another one of them downstairs. Oh, here I am. I was trying to see if I could place, sorry, I know that part was kind of awkward. I was trying to see if I could place any of those decals on the front of that fireplace, because I know that some of those items that came with the pack had kind of that sign functionality almost. But no, I ended up not being able to do that. It wouldn't work. So yeah, like I said, I kind of used this gray color a lot, this kind of smoky gray color, which ended up being really cool and pretty, and matches that blue rug a little bit too. Just items like that blue rug, for example, it's a base game item that I rarely ever use, and it's not because I don't like it or anything, it's just because there's so many more, I guess you could say, exciting options that have come along that I've tended to use a lot more than it. Okay, so now here I've jumped up into this is like where the roof, these are like the rooms that create the roof almost. So basically it's an attic, which is fun. And I just pictured that, you know, it used to be an attic and they kind of decided they needed that extra space as they grew out of the space in the main house, and so they've converted this attic into a bedroom and bathroom, as well as another little living room area with the TV and stuff. So this bedroom has 2 twin beds in it, and I actually pictured twin teenage girls living in this bedroom. Anyways, remember how earlier I was talking about my daughter and how I'm kind of at her mercy because she can wake up at any moment? Yeah, that just happened. She actually ended up going back down to sleep, which doesn't happen very often, so thank you for that, little love. Anyways, I finished that bedroom. Now we're moving on to just this upstairs living room. Nothing too exciting here, just a little TV, as well as some of those couches, which I love. The new like high-backed with the little quilts on top of the chairs. Super, super fun and cute. So now here we are into the screenshots. Here's the exterior. I just loved this shot because it showed some of the background stuff, which is gorgeous. This is the front porch. Here's this beautiful entryway with those 2 sweeping staircases, as well as just a little bit of detail from that entryway. those two paintings at the top of the collage are ones that I ended up needing to replace. And then here's from the entryway through to the kitchen. I love this kitchen. I don't know how I end up loving it so much, but I really do like it a lot. And then there's the dining room, the office area with that pretty honey-colored wood. Here's the living room, which ends up being kind of like a peachy pink and blue color. This is that area I was talking about earlier that is upstairs between the guest bedroom and the master. And then here's the master, here's the guest room. This is one of the bathrooms. I didn't show any furnishing of any of the bathrooms. That cute daughter's room, which is so cute. I love those cats on the wall. The twin bedroom upstairs. And then this is the upstairs that has that little sitting area and another view of that sitting area as well. And then here's the back of the house, which is really fun. I like that. Here's kind of just a cool shot that shows that dramatic chimney. And there you have it, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'm excited for this channel and to see where it's gonna go. So make sure that you subscribe and like that video, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.